Hey guys, Pokedan here. Recently, Hoodlum Callum created a tag video where PokeTubers rank their favourite starter Pokemon from each region. And if you guys haven't seen Callum's video yet, definitely be sure to check it out. Callum was kind enough to create layouts for this tag, and just like Ace Trainer Liam and Ozimitsu did in their videos, I won't be leaving a link to the layout in my description. Instead, I'll be linking Callum's original video, which will have the links to the layouts in his video description. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. I got tagged to take part in this series by my good pal Ozimitsu, and as soon as I was tagged, the first thing I did was check if I made this exact video before. I did this because I know I've made videos on starter Pokemon already, and even though I made a video discussing which region had the best trio, I've never actually ranked the starters within their own trio before. So I'm all good to tackle the subject. Most people who have taken part in this tag already have recorded their videos in the moment on webcam and unscripted, and I'll be doing this as well. But for the sake of getting the introduction completed without my constant umming and ahhing, I thought I'd script this part of the video. Everything else is not scripted. One final thing before we get into the video, I just wanted to say that this is all in my own opinion. So let me know who your favourite starters are down below. But with all that being said, let's get started with the video. So this is the part of the video that is unscripted, the first of many to come. So first off, we have the Kanto region. And for those of you who don't know, and I don't know why you're watching if you don't know, the starters are Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle. So let's start off with the third place ranking, which is Bulbasaur. Okay, so I know what you're probably thinking, this little grass type gets enough hate as it is, but for me, well, I like Bulbasaur, just not as much as the other two. Personally, my favourite out of the trio is Bulbasaur, with Venusaur being a close second. But yeah, I just prefer the other evolutions of the Kanto starters. In second place for Kanto, we have Charmander. Okay, so I'm sorry for the Charizard fans out there, but yeah, it's not my favourite. As much as I like Charizard, I do prefer Blastoise for reasons I'll go in, shortly. But yeah, this evolution line's really cool. They have really awesome designs, and I can certainly see why a lot of people like them. However, the first place, which is Squirtle, really does put Charmander to, shame in my books anyway. For me, I think I've mentioned it in videos before, but Squirtle was my starter Pokemon in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and in Pokemon X and Y. Well, the Kanto starter that you can choose. And yeah, I just love the evolution line because I've used them a lot. So next up we have the Johto region, and I don't know why I keep going like this with my arms, but yeah, we have Chikorita, Cyndaquil and Totodile. And for me, third place is again the grass type starter, it's Chikorita. I feel like it's quite popular to say, oh, Chikorita doesn't get much love. But yeah, I just don't really like it that much. I don't know, for me, I've never connected with this starter, and it's not my cup of tea. But for those who do like it, fair on you, good on you, my guys, yeah. So for second place, we have Totodile. Funny enough, Totodile was actually the starter that I chose, but I just prefer Cyndaquil. I really like Totodile's appearance in the anime when Ash owned one. I just thought it was really cool, and it's kind of always been a Pokemon that I've adored from the anime. But for me, even though I like Feraligatr, for some reason Croconaw just looks weird to me, and I guess it holds Totodile from taking the #1 spot. Which of course belongs to Cyndaquil. I mean, it's a fan favourite Pokemon for a reason, am I right guys? I know it seems like I'm going with the most obvious and popular choice that's gonna get me the least amount of dislikes, but honestly, I just really do like Cyndaquil. Again, with the Johto anime, this Pokemon was just adorable. And I remember seeing it return in the Sinnoh series to fight with Ash, and it evolved, and I thought, holy crap, that is really cool. And if Ash ever brings any Pokemon back again and they evolve, I'm just gonna remember Cyndaquil. As well as this, Dawn also had this Pokemon. And what can I say, I just liked seeing it in the anime, so yeah, Cyndaquil is #1. So next up, we have the Hoenn trio, and for me, this is probably one of the strongest starter trios out there. Of course, as we all know, it consists of Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic. I remembered. And for me, third place is gonna have to be Torchic. Guys, believe me when I say, all of these starters I adore, so it was really hard choosing which ones I preferred more. But I guess Torchic was third place. I don't know what to say bad. I feel like because Torchic is third place, I have to say something bad about the Pokemon, but there's really just nothing to say that's, you know, negative. I remember watching the Hoenn anime when May's Combuskin evolved into Blaziken, and oh my god, this was such a cool Pokemon. And when I was thinking of Blaziken, I was thinking, wait, maybe this Pokemon should be second place. But then I thought of the real second place Pokemon, which is Mudkip. So Mudkip, who doesn't like it? It's adorable. As well as that, it's one of the memeiest Pokemon out there. And I like memes, even if they are old memes, you know? But yeah, this whole evolution line is just really cool to me. It's always appealed to me ever since I was young, and yeah, it's second place. The only reason it's not first is because, well, Trico exists, you know, Sceptile. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos where I talk about this Pokemon, you'll know how much passion I have for this grass starter. The Hoenn anime would always play on, I think it was like Disney XD, always before I went to school, and it would be the Advanced Generation series. I always remember seeing Ash's Grovyle, because it was a Grovyle for a long time, and I just really wanted to get Emerald and choose it as my starter, which I did. And when I had Sceptile, well, happy days. So next up, we have the best trio. It is the Sinnoh starters. And when I say best, I just mean it's from my favourite region. They're not categorically the best, but I don't know, I just really like them. For third place, I've chosen Turtwig. So this Pokemon, as cute as it is as Turtwig, and if its evolution stayed like Turtwig, just even cuter and stronger and cooler, this probably would have been a bit higher up, maybe second. But I'm not really a fan of Grottle, or, well, I like Torterra but not as much as the others, but Grottle's just kind of weird to me, you know? So yeah, next up is second place, and we have Piplup. Let me just say, Piplup is one of the best starters out there, and it's one of my favourites, but I couldn't put it first because we all know that spot belongs to Infernape. But yeah, Dawn's Piplup in the anime was one of the biggest reasons I like this Pokemon. It's just really cool, and I think I'm always gonna have like a soft spot in my heart for it. I mean, looking at Empoleon too, this Pokemon is a beast. It looks awesome. It's a literal tank, and I like this evolution line. So, first place, number 1, we have Chimchar, Monferno, and Infernape. These Pokemon were my first ever starters, and they were the first Pokemon to ever accompany me on a Pokemon journey before. And I'm one of those guys who gets really attached to their starters, so obviously it's my favourite, and yeah, I just can't give it enough praise. Next up, we have Unova, and even though I think that the Unova starters were one of the weaker trios, I still like them personally. But for third place, I have chosen Oshawott. Sorry, Ozzy. I remember choosing Oshawott when I was younger, and I remember also seeing it in the anime when I was younger, and it kind of annoyed me, and I just didn't like using it, so I started a new game. Yeah, so that's why I don't really like Oshawott much, but I have grown to like the Pokemon a bit more now. It's just still my least favourite. So next up, we have second place, and it is Snivy. Nah, for real, this starter was probably my favourite when I was like younger and watching the anime. It was one of Ash's coolest Pokemon, but yeah, it's just not as good as Tepig. I really don't have much to say about Snivy. It's just a decent Pokemon. For me, it's nothing too good, but it's nothing too bad either. So yeah, number 1 for Unova is Tepig. I know I hated on Chikorita earlier because I said it was popular to call it underrated, rather. Where did that come from? This is why I do scripts. But I'm kind of being a hypocrite here because I'm choosing Tepig because I feel like it's underrated. So yeah, Tepig was the starter I chose after Oshawott, and having an Emboar on my team was just awesome. I feel like it just doesn't really get enough love. But as well as that, Emboar Shiny is just... it's mind-blowingly awesome. And if you disagree with that one, then I'm sorry, you're just a Tepig hater full stop. Up next, we have Kalos, and that is Chespin, Froakie, and Fennekin. For number 3, I've chosen Fennekin because, I think I've expressed it in a video or two before, I'm really not a fan of breaks in. There's something about the Pokemon that just makes me feel a bit awkward, and don't get me wrong, it's a middle evolution. It's supposed to, you know, not look cool yet or adorable. It's that awkward stage. But out of all of the middle evolution starters, breaks in is probably the worst in my opinion. Sorry to any fans of this Pokemon. Like I said, it's just my opinion, so please do take it with a grain of salt. Coming in at number 2, we have, Chespin. Again, Chespin, I feel like with Snivy, is just a decent Pokemon. There's not too much to say on it because it's not great in my books, but it's also not bad either. In the Kalos anime, I really liked Clement's Chespin. It was a really funny Pokemon and it made me laugh, so yeah, for that reason, I guess that's why I like it more. However, as cool as Chespin is, it's not as good as Froakie. Not in my books anyway, so yeah, number 1 for me is Froakie. Yes, I am one of these people who, you know, like the overrated Pokemon. Overrated Greninja. I just think, you know, it's a frog, it's a ninja, it's really cool, what's not to like about it? And even though it wasn't my first starter in the Kalos region that was actually Chespin, I still really like Froakie, and from the anime with Greninja, yeah, I mean, it was awesome. The XYZ anime was probably my favourite series, and yeah, nothing's gonna beat Ash Greninja. Sorry guys, I know it's overrated to think that, but that's what I think. Up next, we have the Alola starters, which, it feels weird to say, aren't the new starters. That belongs to Galar. But as we all know, they are Rowlet... we don't all know because I've forgotten. Sorry, they are Rowlet, Popplio, and Litten. And for third place, I've put Popplio. Again, like with the Hoenn starters, I think the Alola starters were some of the strongest, and I don't dislike the Popplio line at all. So there's nothing bad to say, it's just not as good as the others in my opinion. However, saying that, I remember when I was younger, I was Team Popplio when the games were announced, and I was going to choose it as my starter. But when I booted up Sun and Moon, Rowlet just felt more natural, so yeah, I chose Rowlet. Speaking of Rowlet, coming in at number 2 is not Rowlet. It's Litten. Whenever I've played Gen 7, this is a bit of a confession that's coming out here, I've always chosen Rowlet. I've never given the others a proper chance. But if I were to, then Litten would be my second choice. I really like this evolution line, and yeah, I mean, you end off with this Wrestler Firecat, which is really cool, and start with an adorable, you know, Firecat. What's not to like? So of course, coming in at number 1 for the Alola starters is Rowlet. Surprise, surprise. To be honest, when I first saw all the Alola Pokemon, I didn't really think any of them would become, you know, my favourite Pokemon. But like I said earlier, I get attached to my starters, and Decidueye is now that for me. It's like, probably my 3rd or 4th favourite. Like I said, I've always chosen Rowlet as my starter, and there's a reason for that. I like using it. Rowlet, Dartrix, and Decidueye are all awesome Pokemon, and yeah, they're definitely and easily my number 1 choice. So here's where it gets interesting. Galar. I remember when I first watched this trailer, I was sitting in a call with my friend Kalos Pokemon, and when I saw the starters, I had mixed opinions at first. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it out there, at first, you know, I wasn't too sure what to think, but they have grown on me now. I do really like them. And for me, number 3 is Scorbunny, which, you know, don't hate me because I know a lot of people love it. Don't get me wrong, Scorbunny is adorable, and I really do enjoy its design. I think it's quite refreshing. But out of the 3 Pokemon, it's just not really my thing, I guess. I mean, it is my thing, but not as much as the others. I don't know, if you guys get what I'm trying to say here. Number 2 is Grookey. When I first watched the trailer, Grookey was probably my favourite, but I guess it's kind of grown on me a bit less, but I still really like it. I know it's still early days now, but when I was watching the trailer, you know, so probably 2 weeks ago, it was even earlier days, I was like, yeah, Grookey's my starter. But then the number 1 choice, Sobble. It happened, it grew on me. Watching the trailer, I didn't really think that it did Sobble any justice, but seeing its official art and just fan art of the Pokemon, it is adorable. How could you not like it? Yeah, so Sobble is probably the starter that I'll be choosing. It's just really cool, and yeah, I like it. It's my favourite so far. But hey, it's early days. This list before the Galar starters could completely change. So yeah, that wraps things up. So I want to say a huge thank you again to Callum for creating the tag. It was a lot of fun to take part in, and I want to say thanks to Ozzy for tagging me, so thank you Ozzymitsu. All these channels will be linked down below, by the way. And yeah, now I'm supposed to tag 3 people, so I'm gonna go for Link Cable, Entity Maze, some Northern guy. All really good friends of mine, so guys, I hope to see what you have. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool to watch. But yeah, this was weird, doing a face cam video, not scripted. It put me a bit out of my comfort zone, but still, maybe I'll do more things like this in the future. Who knows? But nonetheless, if you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, as always. Also, be sure to post your opinions down below in the comment section. But with all that being said, for now, I've been Pokedan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.